AlrighterBabber. Hello folks, and welcome to part 0 of Pillars of Eternity, what we've all been waiting for. Beautiful new game. Right, so this is going to be basically character creation. I've had a little playthrough. I kind of know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be boring, and I'm going to be a straight out fighter. I think I might be going Paladin. We'll discuss it when I get there. I've had a little look through, got things ready. The plan for Pillars of Eternity, if you haven't looked at the description, is going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays, with Icewind Dale Monday, Wednesday, Friday as normal. But I'm planning on doing sort of hour-long episodes, and all being well, the first one will be out this Tuesday. And yeah, cool. This should be about an hour long if all goes to plan, because I'm gonna want to play this quite a lot. So rather than doing sort of half an hour bursts, we'll do an hour at a time. So right, let's get on and have a look at a new game. We're gonna go normal. For normal difficulty requires strategy and efficiency, of which I have neither, but forgives a few mistakes in combat. It is not recommended for newcomers to real-time party-based RPGs. Okay. I hope we're all excited. Okay, I'm not going to be reading tooltips. There's going to be plenty.
Wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern, his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
So we're settlers. Okay, so I'm going to go female. I like playing female characters. I think it's the thing I have for Xena. But this lass, when I was having a look through, kind of looks a bit Gabby-like, but there's no portrait for Gabby. I know you can add them in, but brand new game, we're just going to go completely vanilla for the minute, and then we'll look at doing some fancy stuff on a second playthrough. So yeah, I do enjoy playing females. We're going to stick with human. So right, let's go through the female thing. Right, so female. A woman's role in Eora, I assume it's Eora. There's going to be lots of pronunciation things going on. Yeah, stick with me. A woman's role in Eora is largely dependent on where she is from. In the Adia Empire, Valian republics, and the Deerwood, women occupy many domestic, educational, and organizational roles. They are the primary hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes of Nasitak. In Erglanfath and Ixmitil, women and men have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and women can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. So we're going to have a look at the lore and things. So the Valian republics. A mercantile power and former colony of a larger, more ancient nation, Old Valia. The republics lie to the south of Deerwood and Ear Glanfath. I read that just now. And are ruled by a duke educated by the Consuagli Aesgia. A council of 14 dukes, including its 5 most prominent, the Duke's Bells. I'd imagine there's some sort of accent to that, Duke Bell, or something, I don't know. The Deerwood, a colonial nation founded by settlers from the Adia Empire. Following a series of conflicts with the Adia, the territory became independent in 2672 AI and is now ruled by a duke who is elected by 7 earls that oversee its earldoms. Okay, earls and dukes could be spelt properly. I don't think it matters in fantasy really. We know what they are. I think we get the idea. Okay. Ear Glanfath. Don't say you haven't learnt anything tonight, because, you know, hey, new stories. Ear Glanfath, a territory comprised of the forest southeast of the Bale River, populated indigenously by a group of loosely affiliated tribes collectively known as Glanfathans, and governed by a council of its 6 most powerful tribes. Ear Glanfath is home to a large number of ruined Engwithan sites, which Glanfathans hold sacred. The ruins have been at the centre of a number of large-scale conflicts with Drywoodian colonists, whose settlements often encroach on the Glanfathian territory and who frequently seek to plunder the ruins for their relics. Ooh, I bet we get to do some of that. Okay, so that's the lady part done. We're going to go human. I did have a look through these guys. You can have a little pause of the screen if you want to read. I'm not going to read everything, because once we get in game, it's going to get crazy reading. Right, so humans. Humans, commonly called folk, are the most common race in the Deerwood. We've looked at that, haven't we? Yep. The Adia Empire, Old Valia, and the Valian Republics. Though not as large as the towering Amawa, yeah, them. They're something to do with Kith races, which the Kith races are civilized races. Anyway, right. Though not as large as them blue things, humans are known for their strength and willpower. Now, being human, we get resolve. And resolve reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. So, the more resolve, it contributes to deflection. This sort of gets important with the Paladin, because they're very defensive. And it looks like they're sort of designed to like not get hit, so they just miss, which means no damage. Excuse me. Right, so might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as the fortitude defense. Okay. So, regardless of which folk you pick, they all get fighting spirit. Fighting spirit, fighting spirit. So fighting spirit is once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced below 50% endurance, folk temporarily gain bonuses to accuracy and damage. So if you've watched Arumba or Quill 18 or someone like that, basically the way combat works is you have health and you also have endurance. And as you do stuff, your endurance wears out. And as you take damage, your endurance wears out. I don't know if it wears out if you do stuff. We'll find out later on. But as you take damage, you lose endurance. If you hit 0 endurance, you fall unconscious. But you'll still be alive because your health isn't reduced to 0. So it's yeah, kind of different. I'm sure I've seen that sort of thing before. So kind of think of it like mana in World of Warcraft or something. But when mana runs out, you don't fall over and can't do anything. Anyway, when we get below 50% endurance, we gain a bonus to accuracy and damage. So accuracy is part of almost every attack. It influences how... We all know what accuracy is. It influences how likely the attack is to affect the target. Accuracy is defined... Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's accuracy. It's how well you hit, whether you hit or not. And we all know what damage is. So, I was going to go Meadowfolk. The most common humans in Deerwood, the Meadowfolk, or Thyrtan, have lived in that area for almost 2,000 years. Meadowfolk traditionally live at the edges of elven forests, work in the open plains, hence their name. Most humans in the Drywood are Thyrtan. So we're going to go for that. Now, I was looking at being a fighter. It's all the weird fancy stuff. The monk looks interesting, because they get this thing where they get transcendent suffering. When monks have no weapons, their unarmed attacks are exceptionally powerful, and they continue to increase in damage as they gain levels. Much like a D&D monk, which I quite enjoy. But I am a big fan of the fighter, all the fancy magic-y stuff I like doing once I know the system and sort of know the mechanics. So I was going to go fighter. Now, fighter's ability is to regenerate endurance, and the human ability, or sorry, the folk ability, is that they get bonuses to accuracy and damage when they're below 50% endurance. So as a fighter, you'd use all your skills straight away, get your endurance down, get your accuracy and damage up, but then you'd regenerate your endurance. So I was thinking I may not go for a fighter. What I'm thinking is a paladin. So paladins, right, this is what we're going for, is a paladin. Paladins are martial zealots devoted to a god, ruler, or even a way of life. They can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies and mercenary companies, but in the heat of battle their fanaticism often overrules the chain of command and common sense. So, starting ability. We get faith and conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all of their defences. So there are 4 defences in Pillars of Eternity: deflection, fortitude, reflex and will. Each defence is used to resist a different category of attacks through the attack roll. Deflection is used to resist most direct weapon attacks or attacks that are similar to weapons. Fortitude opposes physical attempts to overpower a character or attack their body internally, example via a poison. Physical area effect attacks, it goes off the page. Can we scroll down and get it to go up? There we go. Physical area attacks like fireballs and lightning bolts are resisted by reflex. Almost all mental attacks are opposed by will. I assume that's short for willpower. Fortitude, reflex and will are all based on pairs of attributes: might and constitution, define fortitude, dex and perception defined. I'm not going to remember all this. The important thing is they get bonuses to their defences. You'll see what's coming up in a minute. Over the course of the game, the value of this bonus may shift based on the reputations the paladin gains relative to the behaviours that are preferred by his or her order. Now, we do get athletics +2. Travelling, basically it's like stamina or endurance, I guess. It's like how long you can last. It says the athletic skill counters the effects of accrued fatigue. So it's kind of like constitution in D&D. I think the lower the constitution, the more likely the characters in Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale are to start, I'm so tired, yawny yawn. So yeah, cool. And we get law, which is what it says. Lore represents a character's accumulated miscellaneous knowledge and trivia, often of occult or esoteric topics. Outside of conversations and scripted interactions, lore is used to activate scrolls. We're not too worried about scrolls. Higher lore values allow the characters. Higher lore values allow the character to use higher level scrolls. There you go. And then we get these. So we get 42 endurance and 14 per level. Our health is 5 times our endurance. Our accuracy is 25 plus 3 per level. And our deflection is 25. That's not going up per level. Interesting. Okay. And there are different types of Paladin Orders. Which, again, I'm not going to run all the way through, but but because I'm stoic and rational, but I also get passionate, and in game I would certainly get aggressive. So I'm going to go with, I believe, the Shield Bearers of St. Elga. Honest, they prefer honest and diplomatic, which I can do. And not, they disfavour cruel and aggressive. So I assume we'll get bonuses based on how we act in game. So yeah, we'll give that a try, see what happens. And we get an ability. We get one ability. So we get Flames of Devotion. Calls upon the paladin's inner fire, causing their equipped weapons to burst into flame and adding 100% burn damage. And burn damage. There are 8 damage types in Pillars of Eternity. Slash, Pierce, Crush, Burn, Shock, Corrode, Freeze, and Roar. And it goes off the page, so yeah. So we get 2 of them per encounter. User full attack. Many abilities will state that they use either a full or primary attack. So full attack, and it does plus 50% damage as a burn. Or there's Lay on Hands. Fueled solely by belief, the paladin is able to heal with the touch of his or her hands, recovering a substantial amount of endurance for the paladin or an ally within range, and you can use that once per encounter. An encounter, I think I read earlier, is a combat. A per encounter ability can only be used for a set number of times per combat. For example, an ability that has 3 uses per encounter may only be used 3 times during a single fight. So, one of them. I quite like the Flames of Devotion. It doesn't say how long it lasts for, but we do get 2 per encounter. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Flaming Swords. So, stats. Now, unlike Icewind Dale, we don't get to re-roll all the time. All we get is 15 points. Now, our Resolve and our Perception are highly recommended for Paladins, and our Intellect and Might are recommended for Paladins. Now, when I was looking into this a little bit earlier on, Resolve, so Resolve is 10, I get 1 for being human, 1 for being Ada, that gives me 12. And you get Concentration. A character's concentration determines how likely they are to have their spells or attacks interrupted during combat. Every point of Resolve increases a character's concentration and is opposed by the attack's interrupt rating. Like attack rolls, interrupts use a randomized roll to determine if the interrupt is successful. If concentration is superior to the interrupt rating, the interrupt is less likely to occur. So concentration reduces the chance of being interrupted. Deflection reduces the chance of taking damage from melee and ranged attacks. Deflection is the defense used to resist direct melee and range attacks against the character that are not area of effect. And then we get Will, which opposes attacks that are mentally based. So it's all sort of high defense stuff. And then if you look at Perception, you don't get a bonus to interrupt. Well, not at level 10, you don't anyway. You get your chance to interrupt someone else, which is always good. A 1 to 100 roll is made, adding the interrupt and subtracting the concentration. You get deflection again, and you get reflex, which is the dodge AoE stuff. So deflection is non-AoE and reflex is AoE dodge. So we are going to slam a few points in there and a few points in there. Now the other two good ones, it reckons, is might and intellect. Okay, so I think what we'll do is slam a couple of points into there. Oops. No, might was one up anyway, wasn't it? So that's fine. I've got 1 point left. And I think what I'd like to do is maybe increase perception again. Get that interrupt up a little bit more, maybe. That's decent concentration, I think. We could go to 18 resolve. We could bring these down. That gives us -3 to stuff. I think we're going to go with that. I can't remember what I picked before, but I like the idea of this high resolve for the concentration so we don't get interrupted, and a bit of deflection. It seems good to me. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. New game, new things. Now, our culture, where we come from, what we're like. And again, I was looking through earlier, and I think the three that were valid were the white that wends, a large cracked southern expanse of polar ice. The white that wends is a home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the white, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. There was... You can pause the other ones, I guess. This one, Ixamital Plains. Located to the northeast of Ir Glanfath, the Ixamital Plains, Ixamitl. There, those plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by human and Orlan residents. Their culture, see what I did there? Their culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past several thousand years. Mainly because they get a resolve +1. But I think I may go Adia. The Adia Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. Though the Empire's colonies in numerous areas of the world, Greater Adia is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven nations. Just a regular human out looking for adventure. That's what I'm looking at. Now, background again. I was looking through these. I'll do a quick flick through them all for you. But I'm thinking we're going to go mercenary is what I was playing with. I was thinking of hunter or mercenary. Hunter for survival skills. Survival allows the character to make better use of the food and potion items they find. I was thinking of that, but I think we'll go mercenary for athletics. Adventuring is tiring work. Travelling, fighting and scrambling up fallen statues can take its toll. It's that fatigue one. So I think we're going to go for that. And then it's just sort of what we look like. I was going to go for Gabrielle's yellow hair. And I think I went for a different head. I think I was going for that one. I didn't really check the other hairstyles. Let's have a quick look through. That's kind of cool. No. Is that a ponytail at the back? Kind of. No, maybe not. No. I forgot what number we were on originally. Nah. It's a bit... What's that woman's name? I can't remember her name. I think that was the one we had, was it not? No, maybe that one. Maybe that one. Quite like that. Bit over the face. Bit Avril Lavigne. Don't know about that. Nah, not a fan. Yeah, maybe. Where was that original one we had? Was it up here somewhere? That one, I think, wasn't it? 18. No, it was that one. That one. Stick with that one. I like that one. And then the Pictor doesn't quite match, but I was thinking of that one. So, yeah, the voice. I think I was going to go with the stoic voice.
My eyes are peeled. Leading the way.
I think we'll do that.
Keeping quiet.
Now, a name. Obviously, I was going to go with something easy. And we'll go with Gabrielle. And there we are. Our character ready to rock and roll. So, look out around 5:30, 6 o'clock Tuesday evening. And if all goes to plan, episode 1 will be ready and waiting. Thanks, folks. See you again soon. Bye-bye.